We're asking tonight is, can the insurance industry participate in the debate around the burning issue of transformation? The South African Insurance Association held an indaba today to discuss how the industry, particularly the short-term insurance industry, can support the National Development Plan as well as inclusive growth in South Africa. And to discuss that, we're now joined by one of the speakers at today's event, Themba Gamedze, who's a well-known businessman serving on the boards of Santam and Sanlam, emerging markets. He's also a fellow of the Actuarial Society and founding president of the SA Black Actuarial Professionals. Now, I want to embarrass you because you're the first black actuary in South Africa, which is quite a while ago, but a significant milestone. Has it changed a great deal since then? Have we got lots of Gamedzes out there?
Well, it's a difficult one because when I first arrived, actually, I was not struggling with the exams at that stage, and I thought, oh, forget this, I'll just quietly leave. And then read the statistics that there were no others. So I said, no, there was one Zimbabwean in the country, and I thought, no, there's something wrong with this picture.
Wow. And so you led the way, which is fantastic. Okay, so today you had some pretty important discussions at this indaba, and you sat particularly on a panel delivering on the National Development Plan and how it contributes to inclusive and sustainable economic transformation. Is there a link between short-term insurance and NDP? I mean, you know, for me, paying my car insurance, I don't see the link at all. Absolutely.
You know, it's amazing how our industry really fails to explain, for example, that our economy is based on taking risk. So somebody who builds a factory is taking a number of risks. And when you take risks, you're not always able to manage all the risks. And sometimes a bank will lend you money to do that, but they'll only do it if they've got insurance. So many of the things that have taken humanity forward have been because of taking risk, being able to share risk, and at the back of it often is insurance.
So how do we feed into this National Development Plan? How can the industry contribute?
Well, I think that we try to because obviously there's a lot of things that have to be done. But my view is it's better to focus on something that you're really good at. So, for example, you talk about insurance. One of the issues we try to deal with is addressing poverty. Now, we know about income poverty. If you have income of a certain level, you can't make ends meet. We also know about self-esteem poverty. If your self-esteem is very low, then you could do things which are really bad for you, go on drugs, etc., and you're back in poverty. But I think the part where short-term insurance and life assurance can help is in financial literacy and in what I call contingent liability poverty. So, for example, even if my family has life cover on my life, if I die, they might be able to continue financially. But if my brother doesn't have life assurance and he dies and with his family, and then I have to look after them, that's like, if you like, a contingent liability that I'm not aware of. So I believe that the more we can make insurance, life assurance, health insurance available, we can reduce that kind of liability that we've got.
Well, let's talk about availability, because that actually also means cost, doesn't it? And, you know, our people, and I'll say this, for everyone, insurance is a grudge purchase by and large. And for our people, we might get a funeral policy and a life cover if we can afford it. Beyond that, we won't even try and insure the car because we just don't have money. How do we get onto this? Because some people watching this might be thinking, you know, this is a middle-class conversation happening between two clever people at the moment.
Absolutely, clever blacks at that. But look, insurance can be regarded as expensive. It can be regarded as a grudge purchase. It can be regarded as a luxury. However, I think that the discussion has been very much, has not been about seeing what it can do for the economy. So it might be a cost to the economy, but if it allows, for example, people to, if my car crashes, right, I've got a car, and then suddenly I'm a salesman, I could lose my job. Now, we need to have that discussion to say, can we make it more affordable? Part of the reason why it's very expensive is that many people on the roads aren't insured. So my premiums and your premiums, we're actually paying for all those other people who are not insured. So if we can make sure that everybody gets into the net, the premiums actually can be reduced substantially. And one of the things that we're exploring is maybe having a package of benefits, package of covers that can make sure that at least people can get up and going if there are certain things that happen to them. So it might not be the huge cover, comprehensive cover that we talk about, but at least it stops people falling back into poverty.
So who needs to drive the conversation? Is it the industry itself, or is it business? Is it government? How do we get to this point where everybody in South Africa has some kind of insurance, and even down to the basic of good medical insurance?
My view is that this is very much about business and government. Part of the problem, though, is there's been an erosion of the trust that is needed in this kind of conversations. It's the kind of conversation where people can sit there nodding, yeah, but if they're not actually going to do anything, you've got this amazing inertia, which is actually stopping people doing things. So the first thing is that deficit of trust definitely needs to be rebuilt. Secondly, I think some of the people are saying, but part of the reason is government changes its policy all the time. We've got this NDP, but then every couple of years somebody brings something else. Are we really serious? But then on the other hand, others could say, yeah, but you as business are not really seeing the urgency of the problems that we've got in South Africa. Some of the discussions about transformation that we saw indicated that some people have, in a sense, just been taking the mickey out of the whole thing.
All right, so bottom line, we've run out of time. Maybe a quick answer. Poverty, inclusiveness, how can we address this through interventions such as short-term insurance?
My view is that one of the things that we can contribute is we've got business on the one hand, which can produce jobs. We've got government, which produces the policy. But in between, I believe we need to give room for the professionals. The professionals are the ones who've studied risk management, who've studied project management, who know about accounting, reporting, holding people accountable. And I think we need to make sure that each person is doing their bit. At the moment, it's like sometimes business wants to do everything, government wants to do everything. We all need to find our niche, but we need to recognize that if we don't do anything, we're really heading for disaster.
All right, Mr. Gamedze, thank you very much indeed for sharing your thoughts with us and some fascinating insights. I think we're going to have a different look at insurance going forward as a result of this. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Peter.
All right, okay, let's catch you up with what's been happening on the markets today. France